What's up, everybody? Welcome to the pilot episode of the new and improved Ringmasters podcast. I am Chad, and joining me, as always, is my wonderful tag team partner, the Shawn Michaels to my Triple H, the Billy Gunn to my Road Dogg. He is...
My name is Austin Sumwoods, and I can't believe you just referred to me to Mr. Ass.
Well, one thing that is an ass is going to be this podcast, because we are going to bring top-notch wrestling to your wonderful ears. So basically, take, the Talk is Jericho and the Edge and Christian podcast and basically, put it on steroids, because this is what our show is going to be. Top of the line podcast that you guys are all going to want to listen to.
For sure, yeah, for sure. We're going to be going through Raw and SmackDown, and we are about a week away this Sunday where we have Hell in a Cell live in Detroit at the new Little Caesars Pizza Arena, which is an amazing arena from me being there before. And yeah, so we're just going to be going through the week in wrestling here today.
Hell in a Cell in Detroit that your boys will not be at. However, that will not stop us from providing coverage of the podcast,
Absolutely
of the pay-per-view.
not.
But yeah, so let's get into Raw. It started with wasn't it the Roman Reigns Miz match?
Yes, it was, yeah. I think Roman Reigns came out for sure, and I think he made sure to it was basically he got interfered by the by the Miztourage, which I mean it kind of expected to happen. But then it built up to the fact that they came. Well, what I loved the most was that they're really playing on the Miz making fun of the Shield with him coming down from the audience.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. The fact that they came through the crowd. I'll tell you what, though. I am a little mad because, spoilers, if you haven't watched, you should probably not listen to the podcast. But, during their match, Sheamus and Cesaro interfered.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't know I'm assuming, well, when that interference happened, I'm like, here comes the Shield reunion because now they all have common enemies.
Yeah, and, Sheamus and Cesaro definitely have a better star quality than Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, but I don't know. I was kind of excited to see Miztourage in their entirety.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would definitely give them more chance to better improve themselves in front of against Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who are established talent. Meanwhile, Bo and Curtis really haven't done much other than just be Miz's lackeys.
But
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment real quick before we go back into this. Have you seen Cesaro's new shirt on WWE Shop?
Yes.
That is comedy gold.
Some context for people, like Grant who doesn't know what's going on. During a match last, it was a pay-per-view or a Raw?
It was at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah,
the last pay-per-view.
At No Mercy. At No Mercy. Was it No Mercy?
It was No Mercy.
Yeah, at No Mercy, Cesaro bashed his teeth into the turnbuckle and I don't know if he broke off his teeth or his teeth dislodged into his mouth.
I think I heard 5 millimeters up into his gums. I originally thought he just chipped it and just completely knocked him out, but instead it's just shoved up into his gums, and I'm just that was horrifying.
Yeah, no, brutal. And so his T-shirt now, because he had oral surgery, but now instead of being called the Swiss Superman, he is now the Thwith Flooperman because his teeth are all destroyed.
And
now.
then on the back it has his name, but it's just Cesaro.
Yeah. So
if that was Cesaro's idea, or if that was whoever does the shirt department there,
they need a raise.
Yeah, they need a raise, they need a promotion, they need a vacation, all of the things, because that was incredible.
But yeah, I don't know. The Bar's a good tag team. I like them. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really wishing that they stuck with the Miztourage though, just so I could hear Bo Dallas say, "Believe in the Miztourage." I would have popped.
He doesn't really say that much anymore.
I know,
and I'm
I'm
one of the guys who was actually pulling from him when he came from NXT, because he did some fun stuff and some good stuff when NXT was first starting to get rolling. His ladder match at TakeOver Arrival against Neville was really good, and then he had a really good chemistry with the audience. He was like, you're not getting cookies. I brought cookies for everyone. You can't have them.
Yeah, no, I do like Bo Dallas a lot.
It's just a shame too, because it's another example of those NXT characters who come up from NXT who are really really quirky, and same way with the Ascension. And it's
Ty Dillinger.
Yeah, and Ty Dillinger especially. And they just come up to the main roster and they just they flounder. I mean, Ty, I'm hoping like they start giving him a little bit more to do, but like the stuff that they're having him do with Baron Corbin, I'm not looking forward to. Yeah. But back to Raw for sure. Like that basically signified like we are getting the Shield versus Miz and most likely the Bar.
Yep. I don't know if they're gonna give themselves a cool name like the Miz Bar, but
I don't think so. I think they're gonna just call themselves the Better Shield because they're just. They'll just be like, we are. If you guys are the Shield, we're the Swords.
They should come out with SWAT jackets too.
No, they should come out like they originally booked that the Shield should be like they like wearing the turtlenecks.
Yes,
and then just coming out with like riot shields with the word Shield written on it. Be like, this is what you should have been.
Yeah, and have Cassius Ohno in it.
Exactly. You know what? That would be awesome. Just it's like, and then just CM Punk back at his home in Chicago would just get like the biggest ego just raised.
Just
like,
let us book the shows.
It's like there we go. It's like they listened.
But yeah, they're probably gonna have the 6-man at what's their name? TLC, and it's probably gonna be for both the tag and IC belts.
You think they're gonna put both belts up? I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna put either of them up.
I think they'll put both belts up.
I think if they were gonna do that, it would be like they'd have them separated, where like the tag team match and then the IC match.
See, I don't know. I feel like
they might do that. They might do that leading up to that, and then maybe the Shield has the belts going into it.
Maybe what they'll do is they'll make the 6-man at at TLC not for the belts, and then for Survivor Series they'll put the belts on, because I definitely think the belts will be on the line.
Eventually, yeah, for sure. I just don't know if it's going to be at this show.
Yeah.
But leading into TLC, like out of everything that's looking forward to NXT, to TLC, Asuka debuting is by far the biggest deal to me, because like, well, I've been debating with myself whether or not like it's a good idea for her to be on the Raw Women's Division or the SmackDown Women's Division, because both are very different, but I'm just wondering which one she would be best suited for.
I think Raw is the right decision. I think Raw is where you put your A-listers. I mean, look, they even put John Cena on Raw now. Mm-hmm. You know, Raw is where, you know, your stars are at. And I think Asuka is a star, and I think her going on Raw is the right choice. And I also think that, and we'll segue to the other thing that happened on Raw, which was the women's angle with Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. Mm-hmm. You know, they got confirmed that they're going to take on each other at TLC also. And I think, in my personal prediction, is that Mickie is going to win the belts just to be a transitional champ and lose it to Asuka. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think that's the way to go.
Well, then it gives her it'll be her 6th title reign, correct? Or will it be her 7th?
I think so, yeah. 6th or 7th.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I know they said it during the show, but I just do not. It slipped my mind there.
They might not have mentioned it on the Hulu version.
But yeah, I think that's definitely a good idea. And then I think what'll end up happening is that she'll distract maybe Alexa will distract Asuka, and then she'll still win, and then she'll win the title, and then just stare at her like, come on, come take it.
Yeah.
But she will destroy on no matter what roster she's on.
And that's why I think it makes more sense to have Mickie win, and then I would even have her lose it the next night to Asuka. And then have Asuka going into Survivor Series as champ versus Alexa.
I just feel like there's a lot more better women heels on the Raw roster.
I don't. I think Alexa Bliss is I love Alexa Bliss though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the heels are much better on Raw. So that way it's easier for Asuka to just sit into it. Yeah. No, I mean it's like you got Alexa, you got Nia. I mean, you get your Emmas in there occasionally, but what you have in terms of heels for the women's division is strong. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, on SmackDown, you don't really have that too much because you got Carmella and Natalya.
Carmella and James Ellsworth.
Just dragged along on his leash.
Just carried her along on a leash.
Dragged her along on his leash. How long are they going to keep that up?
I hope forever.
Yeah. And then going into that next, I believe up next was What was up next?
I don't know. We don't have to go in exact order. We can just say what happened. You know, they, especially just the important stuff, like Kalisto.
Yeah.
Enzo Amore. The
2 weeks in a row, the 205 Live roster has made evented.
The bonafide G and the certified stud.
Yep, just completely. I mean, I'm gonna go on a mini rant here because I was one of the people at No Mercy when he won the title, thinking we've gone back to the Joe Cruiserweight division, we've gone back to Hornswoggle levels. He's doing something right now. I'll give him that because I feel like right now he's very much so a tweener in terms of like what he wants to be for heel and babyface. But if they just go straight heel with him, it's gonna do wonders for them because then it's just gonna be like you're gonna give people a reason to watch 205 Live just so someone can kick Enzo's teeth down his throat because like he's genuinely like just dislikable because of like how full of himself he is now that he has this title. And I can tell you right now, this is the best thing that could have happened for Enzo. Big Cass getting injured, no disrespect to Big Cass because he's incredible, was the best thing that could have ever happened to Enzo Amore because he's doing so much better than he was when that rivalry was going on. When he was sliding out of a shark cage, like lubing himself up and sliding out of a shark cage just to get kicked in the face.
Right.
Like, this is the best thing that could have happened to Enzo, and he's running with it. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm okay with this kind of stuff because one, you're giving something that the cruiserweights care about, and like you're putting an eye on that. Now, granted, they're still like, look at all the cruiserweights we have, like not like kind of like labeling them, but like Enzo, like by Enzo individually mocking each and every one of them, at least gives you an idea of like what their character kind of is, and it just gives people a reason to watch because there you go. It's like. Some people do not like Enzo. Like, he's annoying. He says the same stuff, but like he's good on the mic and he's charismatic. So I think this is the best. Like, besides Neville being the champion, which he was an amazing cruiserweight champion, I think the road to him getting his title back is going to be the best things for the cruiserweights coming in the next few weeks.
And more even so, like, you know, Enzo is now and should be the main heel of the company.
Absolutely.
I don't think they're going to fully commit him to heel because he still sells more merchandise than most wrestlers. At the end of the day, it's all about that bottom dollar. However, he is in all terms and purposes the main heel of that brand. Now you bring in Kalisto, and you know you're with Kalisto and Rich Swann and Cedric more or less TJP. You know, I'm not a big TJP fan, but I like him as a wrestler. But his promo skills are. However, you know. Now that you have Kalisto, because, you know...
Another recognizable face that the audience can watch.
Right. I think it's time you take Neville and you get him out of the Cruiserweight division and you put him in feuds that he... Like, you know what I mean? Not that the Cruiserweight division isn't, you know, it isn't a downgrade, but Neville could be doing a whole lot more in that company than being the Cruiserweight.
Because now you have your Enzo, who can be your top heel for the Cruiserweight division. Right. And then with Neville taking a backseat in the Cruiserweight division, he can just kind of swerve out of there. Because, like, he's worked on the main roster, like, outside of the Cruiserweight division. And with his heel work, granted, like, King of the Cruiserweights fits for him, for sure. But, like, depending on if they want to keep this heel run going for him, he could do some good stuff against some of the top guys there.
And they could still keep him the King of the Cruiserweights and still have him show up on 205 Live and
like
still have him be in the Cruiserweight.
The King of the Cruiserweights is now the king of Monday Night Raw.
Can you imagine him showing up to the 205 Live, the start of it, with the IC belt and being like, I'm so much better than all of you idiots. Like,
exactly.
Look at me.
Well, at the same time, too, it's going to devalue the Cruiserweight title just a bit more with Neville being on there with the IC title and then just being like, Enzo, you're holding a trash belt.
Well, I don't think you ever have to say that. I think the fact that Neville can still continue to say, like, you know, the Cruiserweight Championship, you know, it means something. Yeah. But I have now brought the Cruiserweight division to that next level. Because with you being the IC champion, you would have.
Exactly.
You know? So I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, like, I genuinely do believe that, like, just having them main event Raw 2 weeks in a row means something because, like, this would have never happened before Enzo showed up on there. Yeah. This would have never happened because, like, Enzo, like, love him or hate him, Enzo's going to get people to watch because, like, people are either going to want to watch to see what he says or they're going to want to see someone kick the crap out of him. And, like, that was entertaining as hell, seeing just the entire roster destroy him. And then Braun Strowman for no reason because everybody loves Braun Strowman.
Just comes out and eats him.
Exactly. It was just wonderful. It was wonderful. And it's like...
And I'm that wrestling fan that you can be the greatest worker in the world, but if your character sucks, I'm not buying into you.
Of course.
And that's how I am with Enzo. You know, Enzo, he's not the best wrestler by any means, but I love his character. I'm a huge Enzo fan.
Oh yeah.
Like I've liked Enzo and Cass for a while, but I've always been the Enzo fan more so than Cass. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, Big Cass is the one with the talent." I think Enzo Amore it could be. I think he's got a future ahead of him when it's all said and done as a killer manager.
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I think Enzo.
That's like a Jimmy Hart level of like just loudmouth in your face manager for
and
sure.
I think he's gonna be a really, really good weaselly heel that tries to cheat to win, take shortcuts. I think it's gonna be great, and I think it's a great foil to the hardworking technician geniuses that are in the cruiserweight division as well.
Absolutely. And now I want to just segue into the final thing for Raw, which was the fact that after the main event of the cruiserweights, we had Roman Reigns sitting in his locker room, and then Dean comes in from one side, Seth comes in from one side. They stand there for a little bit, and then they both walk away.
Yeah.
So it's confirmed. It's absolutely confirmed. We're getting a Shield reunion. I don't know about this is for you. It doesn't feel as big to me as it should.
I feel like and I know it's been a few years, but I still feel like they just broke up. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like, because like that moment was so huge when it happened because nobody saw it coming.
Right.
But I think the big thing with me is that they've teased it so much.
Yeah.
And they've built it up so much, like the Shield reunion happening, that I just don't think it'll work. I don't think it'll work, mostly just because people can't stand Roman.
Right, I
and
agree.
that's the thing. When Roman was in the Shield, he was the quiet, big, tough guy that held the Shield together because he was just a monster, and he didn't say much. All he said was believe that and believe in the Shield.
Right.
That was all he needed to say. But now that he's been exposed in his promo skills after he left, and the Sufferin' Succotash, and
the Tater
Tots, and Royal Rumble 20... Was it 20? It was 2015.
And when you get buried by John Cena every single week because you can't cut a promo, that doesn't help you either.
Yeah, well, I mean, thankfully they had him win that match because if he didn't win that match, he was done. It was over for him for sure. But I just don't think that the fans are going to get behind him just because of their preconcepted hate of Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Like, they love Seth and Dean. Seth and Dean are always going to be loved no matter what. But especially if this is just a one-time thing, then we're fine. Then we're fine with that. But if you try to bring them back and legitimately bring them back, it's not gonna work.
I think if anything, it'll go to Survivor Series, and then they'll probably be done with it. Because I feel like bringing the Shield back just for a TLC pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal, but TLC isn't really, it's a B pay-per-view.
It is, yeah. I mean,
whereas
that's
Survivor
the thing, yeah.
Series, it's one of the big four.
Which is why it was weird when they had Roman versus Cena at a pay-per-view like No Mercy.
Right.
That was something you could do for SummerSlam. Because what was Cena doing at SummerSlam? He was beating up Baron Corbin for literally no reason.
Yeah.
And then you would have had to take Roman out of the Fatal 4-Way, but he didn't win anyway.
And I think a Samoa Joe, Braun, and Brock has more appeal to it as a triple threat than with Roman as a four-way.
I feel like there's a lot more oh my God, what's gonna happen, instead of oh my God, anybody but Roman, because that was everybody's mindset.
Right. Whereas
right there.
going in, if that was a triple threat, you'd be like, I don't care as long as it's good.
Exactly. It's just give me a good match, and whoever wins. Well, I mean, there were going to be people who don't like Brock being a champion because of the whole part-timer thing, which I'm fine with, because you shouldn't have your champion on Raw every single week. Because
That's a topic we could debate for another podcast.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You shouldn't have him on for every single week, because then it's just the champion's here, and you start to expect it. When, the champion shows up, maybe once every, month or something like that, or shows up for a big pay-per-view, then a number one contendership match becomes the new main event, and then that gives another spotlight for the guys who would be in the main event if it wasn't for Brock being champion. Because if it was just that, Brock would just be killing people every single B pay-per-view. But now you have guys, you could have Seth versus Dean for the number one contendership as your main event. And it's I feel like it gives a bigger spotlight for the guys that aren't to Brock's level to step up and then do something for these B pay-per-views and make them worth something by putting on great matches. That's my opinion on that.
Well, I guess we'll just touch on it now. Why not?
Yeah.
My opinion is your champion should be at your shows every single week, no matter what happens. And here's why. Because there's nothing that degrades the championship more than, oh, look at this champion. He's got that belt. And then we won't see him again for months. And not everybody's a hardcore wrestling fan. There's going to be those people that tune in, don't see the champion, and for 4 months, and then they show up and like, why do we care about this title? We don't see it that often. And also the fact that, I don't know, I think it diminishes the championship prestige, and I just don't think it's a good look. I think the champion should be your wrestler that's going to be there for you no matter what, day in and day out. I will put that company on my back, and I will provide good matches for you. Not some guy who's like, I'm wrestling once every 4 months for a paycheck. Thank you for this belt. I'm going to go take it back to my farm in Minnesota now, and you'll see me in November. No, I don't think it's a good look. You know, why are we rewarding people like Brock Lesnar, like John Cena, like The Rock when he came back for a stint? Why are we rewarding these people who clearly don't care about your company as much as guys like Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, even Roman Reigns? At least he's there every week. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. Is just like that's the thing too. Is that like, oh, those guys are like elevated as the top stars, and like that's the thing. It's like that. There's a reason why WrestleMania 27 was one of the most bought. WrestleMania 28. There's a reason why WrestleMania 28 was one of the most bought WrestleManias of all time. That was because it was John Cena versus The Rock.
But do you need it for the belt? Because John Cena, The Rock would have sold itself. You don't need the belt on it. You could have kept CM Punk having that belt, and then CM Punk goes on to WrestleMania facing The Undertaker, and then it's, does his title streak of a year, almost 2 years, end at WrestleMania, or does he beat The Undertaker and end the streak? That streak versus streak, I think that would have been.
I agree that would have been better for sure, but like in terms of WWE like presenting it like that, that's what's going to make them the most money, because at the end of the day, they're a business.
Yeah.
And my opinion is when you have guys like The Rock and John Cena and Brock Lesnar and even Goldberg hold that title. When they hold that title, when a guy like Sami Zayn or Seth Rollins or one of the guys who doesn't normally get the spotlight that often, when they grab that title, they're like, they have the biggest title in the division. And then they are immediately elevated to the top, like, because they hold that belt. That's why you have belts like the IC title and the United States title as the workhorse belts. Like, those are the guys that are going to be there every single week, defending it every single week. And they're going to, like, show, like, we are a fighting champion. Like, yes, it's understandable that, like, oh, he's not doing much for the company, or he's not a company man, or, like, whatnot. He's just there to get a paycheck. I can understand that hatred, but at the same time, in storyline mode, and, like, when you're looking at it from a storyline view, like, it makes more sense for Brock to be holding the title and, like, just to be there when he needs to be when there's a huge challenge. And then, like, that sells your B pay-per-views when he shows up. Not when he's just, like, just facing transitional opponents just to extend his reign. Because, like, you know he's going to beat those guys.
Right, but if we're talking about for storyline purposes, then let's even look at this last WrestleMania with Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. You know, that should not have been for the United States Championship. Kevin Owens was the Universal Champion and kept the belt because his best buddy Chris Jericho cheated and helped him win matches. And, you know, the entire year, oh, Chris Jericho's my best friend. They had the best segment on wrestling in years. They were the hottest angle. Chris Jericho was great. And then Kevin Owens, who, again, put that company on his back with Chris Jericho for that year, loses to a man who's 50 years old, which not only makes him look bad, it also makes the championship look bad. And then Goldberg holds that belt for a month and then loses it to Brock Lesnar in like 7 seconds. Another thing where if Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the Universal title would have been that main event match, I think that would have been, you know what I mean? Because you don't need Goldberg, Brock Lesnar. You don't need to have the Universal Championship in that storyline. The storyline was Goldberg beat Brock Lesnar in 3 seconds at Survivor Series and embarrassed him, and then eliminated him at the Royal Rumble. That's the story. It's Brock's redemption. We don't need Goldberg to be coming in as champion. And that's my only thing.
Again, it's just like, that's the thing too, is like, we're hardcore wrestling fans talking about that. And yes, that was the best storyline going into that WrestleMania by far. However, we're hardcore wrestling fans. They know we're going to buy WrestleMania. They know that we're going to be getting every single pay-per-view. WrestleMania is trying to target to the outside people that don't watch pro wrestling. Why do you think Mike Tyson was in the first WrestleMania? They were gambling on a supercard filled with celebrities also. Like that's what WrestleMania is. It is a super card that brings in outside people that normally wouldn't watch wrestling. That's why the biggest topic for people outside of pro wrestling wasn't the fact that Goldberg lost to Brock Lesnar. Wasn't the fact that Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho had a crazy good match. It was John Cena proposing to Nikki Bella. That was the big eye catcher for all of the outside fans because that gave something that they could understand and that they could latch onto. It's like, we were going to watch that no matter what. And we'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But like, this was the big match. Like, that's why those guys like put on such a good match. And then they're going to have, then they still do incredible stuffs on the beat shows that we are going to buy no matter what. But the outside fan maybe won't buy Hell in a Cell or maybe won't buy No Mercy. WrestleMania is where you bring all those people in. And then when they see matches like storylines like Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho, it gives them something that maybe, oh, this storyline is really interesting. Maybe they latch on and maybe they become hardcore fans as well. That's why that's why part-timers are there because they're there to bring people in and then possibly have the workhorses like Kevin Owens, like Sami Zayn, like AJ Styles, latch them onto those guys, and then there you go. You have new fans now.
And that's why I watch Wrestle Kingdom. and that's why I watch New Japan. They'll never have a proposal at a Wrestle Kingdom, I assure you.
Oh, absolutely not. Unless it's Kenny Omega proposing to the Young Bucks.
Young Bucks, I went and I got your Too Sweet back. It's no
exactly.
longer.
No, there's no cease and desist.
The cease and
You're
desist
good.
is over.
You're good.
But okay, so
Yeah.
I think
I think we've gone like far in depth on that.
Yeah.
Unless you have another point on
No,
that.
I want to touch upon the one last thing that happened on Raw that I think is worth talking about, which was the Sister Abigail tease.
Of course, yeah.
So yeah, Bray Wyatt coming down and saying Sister Abigail, you know, his I don't know if it's his actual sister or a love interest or one of his cult members, but you know, who died is apparently back.
Rocking back and forth in his chair
Great
like a
General
crazy person.
Hospital worthy stuff. So I just want to ask real quick, who do you think should be Sister Abigail if and when they finally bring her up? Because I heard it's Paige.
If Paige comes back as Sister Abigail, that would be really interesting. I don't know if they're gonna do that though.
I hope they don't.
I think it'll just be like some unknown person from the NXT development team.
Well, I don't know if Crazy Mary Dobson, she wrestles for NXT under a different name. But when she was on the Indies, her entire gimmick was a crazy swamp woman.
I will tell you this right now: if they end up bringing someone from NXT to be Sister Abigail, Nikki Cross, 100% go with Nikki Cross.
That's another name I heard.
Yeah, that would I feel like would fit a lot more because. Yeah, Paige has been gone for a while, but there are gonna still be people that only see her as Paige. Meanwhile, you have NXT, which not a lot of fans watch anymore because like a lot of the big NXT guys from the golden years of NXT have already come up to the main roster. So it would be a lot more safer for it to be Nikki.
One of the things I actually just thought of is how interesting would it be if they went with a different route and went with like a Beauty and the Beast-ish like angle, and they brought in one of or maybe both of the dynamic duo. And they were Sister Abigail. They were, you know, Bray Wyatt. You know, they're clearly using him. You know what I mean? As like they're more snobby, like full of themselves heel, and they're using Bray Wyatt and his power and his super power like state to basically better themselves. You know, maybe Bray helps them capture like the women's championship.
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. Or if they wanted to go hardcore, bring back AJ Lee.
There you go. And then CM Punk comes back.
Oh, exactly.
And then like, Cassius Ohno's in the Shield.
We've solved it all. Solved it all.
And Cassius Ohno's in the Shield, and it all comes full circle.
Absolutely. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what happens. All I know is that like the graphic that they used for when Bray started laughing with Sister Abigail, like that looked really weird.
Yeah.
Like I was just like,
maybe Goldust could be Sister Abigail.
Oh my god. Let's just have Goldust come back and be like, I am playing my Hollywood role. This is the role I was born to play.
Sister Abadust.
Sister
Abadust.
No. I love Goldust. I love him to death, but that's not gonna work.
I love his brother.
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, I mean,
maybe he can be Abigail.
Cody comes back as Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail.
Vince is like, listen, Cody, I know our last gimmicks were not very good for you. I know we did some ridiculous things for you, but here's the thing: we have a legitimate gimmick for you. You're gonna be a girl.
Stardust comes back as Sister Abadust.
Oh my God, no. That is never. Nope. But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, that was Raw. It was okay for sure. But
it was a good show.
It was a good build up to like the next Raw and leading up to TLC.
Yeah.
But like then we got SmackDown, which was heavily promos and like very few matches. Like I mean, like you had a pretty good tag team between Charlotte and Becky, who I love, and Carmella and Natalia, exactly. And no Naomi for some reason. Like Naomi was off the show for some reason.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Not a fan of Naomi?
Not really. I mean, she wins the women's championship in her hometown. And everyone's like, you deserve it, but did she really? Like, I mean, let's be like, and don't get me wrong, I like Naomi, but I don't know. I don't think she's women's championship material. I think there's other people who I would rather be the face of my women's division. I
agree. There's definitely other people that would be better. Me personally, I need Becky to be women's champion again because she truly, I mean, like, she's the only representative of the 4 horsewomen on SmackDown, and she should be
Charlotte.
Well, Charlotte got drafted, duh. Well, when they first started the draft, she was the first one. Yeah. And granted, they gave her the women's championship as she was the first SmackDown women's champion, which was awesome. Yeah. But I want her to be back in that picture because she is that damn good.
See, I'm on the flip side. I think Charlotte should always be champion.
Yeah. I mean, like, I heavily believe she could win this Sunday.
I think she will win.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it just makes the most sense because, like...
Yeah.
I mean, she's just so good. She's so good. But yeah, but then you could have a crazy moment where like she turns heel again, and then you could have Becky versus Charlotte. That could be a great match.
I think that's going to be the overall plan, but I think they're going to have Becky go heel.
You think?
I think they're going to have Becky go heel.
Ooh.
There's no way after Charlotte just turned face, and also her dad almost died.
Yeah.
There's no way they have her then become a bad guy.
That is a big thing for sure. But I'm not sure how Becky will do. I mean, I have the utmost faith in her because I think she's incredible.
I think Becky could be a heel.
Yeah. I mean, well, she's just so sweet. I met her in Brooklyn. She's so sweet. Like, just the nicest human being in the world. I swear to it's
always
like,
the nice ones that get you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. She just goes out of nowhere. But yeah, that would be really interesting for sure. I'm sure she'd be able to pull it off too. Well, because she originally was a heel when she was in NXT with Sasha Banks.
Right.
Yeah, I think she could pull it off for sure. But yeah, that was a good match for sure. You had Natalia and Carmella win via shenanigans with Carmella smacking Becky with the briefcase. But yeah, I think that'll be a good match for sure. Probably one of the few matches from Hell in a Cell that I'm looking forward to. And you had Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin, which was a nothing match.
I think they're gonna put Ty Dillinger in the match, make it a triple threat at the pay-per-view.
You think so?
I think that's gonna happen.
This late?
I don't know why else you'd have him win against Baron.
I don't know. I mean, like, and then AJ's kind of talking trash too on the screen and stuff like that. AJ's like holding that U.S. title and just going at Baron Corbin, just like going at him. And it's like, I'm not sure. I'm not a Corbin guy.
I want to get the belt off AJ, give it to Corbin if you have to, and then get AJ back in that world championship scene. Have him beat Jinder, and then at Survivor Series we can get Shinsuke versus AJ. And my indie mark self can be happy.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like you could have Shinsuke win, then have AJ beat Jinder in a number one contendership match, and then there you go. I mean, like then we get Wrestle Kingdom 10 all over again.
And my indie darling self can be thrilled.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, now is the time to take the belt off Jinder. Right. It's been too much. Yeah. Because I can tell you right now, it's from being at SummerSlam, when he beat Jinder, when Jinder beats Shinsuke the same way he beat Orton, where Singh brothers get interfere, and then he hits his finisher very poorly, and then he just wins him with one hit of his finisher, like, I was infuriated. I'm like, you cannot tell me that the first loss of Shinsuke's WWE career is gonna be from Jinder
at
freaking
the hand
Mahal.
of one of the three men in 3MB.
Oh, exactly. Of the worst member of 3MB by far. Yeah. It goes Jinder, then Heath, then Drew.
Yeah.
It's like that is the hierarchy, and then we just hit rock bottom, and it's like everybody was fuming. They thought like it's a Big Four pay-per-view. Why are you not getting a new champion out? Because like let's face it, you're not doing well with Jinder at all. And if these last few weeks on SmackDown haven't proven anything, Jinder does not work well. I mean, like, with these horribly racist and just stupid, long promos and vignettes of him just making fun of Shinsuke's face. He did that for 2 weeks in a row, and then a third week until Shinsuke finally decided, I'm going to shut him up. Like, we had that for 2 weeks in a row. That is unbelievably stupid. That is the only thing you can come up with for Jinder to get some cheap heat.
And they're doing the same thing they do with every person who's not from America. They're giving him a foreign heel gimmick, and it's been done before. And in my humble opinion, I think it's an outdated concept.
100%.
I think, I am from another country and I hate America. Really? It's 2017 and we can't think of a better angle than this anti-America
And that's
heel.
the best thing too, is that he's like, listen, Shinsuke, just don't even try, because if you become champion, they're gonna
hate you too.
They're gonna hate you just the same way we hate you. We don't hate you because you're Indian, even though you're not technically. We hate you because you suck.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think how many people they have on their writing staff and how much money they pay their writers, and that's the best you can come up with. And I think it's a prime example of how out of touch Vince is.
It doesn't even matter. Like, the writing staff could come up with something interesting. The thing is, they have to feed it to Vince.
And Vince
is the type, he's gonna cycle of things that worked in the past and only worked in the past.
They're gonna hate America, and then Hulk Hogan will come out.
There's a reason why that they didn't fill their original arena for WrestleMania 7. Like, that gimmick, that match between Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter, they're like, oh, we were afraid that some crazy Americans were gonna bomb the arena. No, you weren't selling out your original planned arena, so you had to move to a smaller one.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it just was a trash idea, and it's just like, it's a boring, lazy gimmick that's like, oh, just because that guy's from a different country, you have to hate him. Like, no,
it's outdated, and I think it's embarrassing for wrestling fans.
Your company, your audience, your world is changing all around you, and you need to start doing something different.
Yeah,
it can't just be that his nationality is different. It can't.
Yeah,
because that's just a boring, lazy way of getting heat.
Right, and New Japan does a very similar angle with the Bullet Club. New Japan is a Japanese company, obviously, in the name.
Course.
And Bullet Club is a whole bunch of American heels that come down there.
Except for one, yeah.
Well, two technically.
All right.
But anyway, so but that's the whole point of the gimmick is but they don't, you wouldn't know if you didn't, if you were a hardcore New Japan fan, you wouldn't know that that's how that club originated. And the leader of the faction, which was Finn Balor at the time, he's not even from America. Mm-hmm. So it's not one of those things where all these American people hate Japan, so they're bad guys. It's just a bunch of people who aren't from Japan, who aren't anti-Japanese heels, but they're a club, they're a faction, they're a brotherhood.
They're a group of people who love wrestling and love kicking you in the face.
And if you made Jinder Mahal and the Singh boys, and even put Khali in there too, and made them not so much we hate America, go India, but we're a bunch of people who are badasses who just happen to be from India, and we're going to win this championship not because we hate America, but because we're professional wrestlers and we want to win a championship.
Of course.
I think that would mark it better.
Yeah.
Had them be ruthless badasses who just beat people up.
Well,
but you don't have to put it, I hate America, too.
Of course, yeah. It's like, you just worthless Americans. I'm like, you tried that with Rusev. Look how well he turned out.
Yeah.
You had to change him from Russia to Bulgaria. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, like, I hate Bulgaria even more than Russia. What?
So, I don't know. I think it's an outdated concept, and I do agree. I think the experiment can end. We can get Shinsuke Nakamura a champion, and then we can get Shinsuke AJ, and all my problems can be solved.
And I think the big thing, real quick, I want to talk about with SmackDown, too, is because we have Bobby Roode, who is now 100% a face. Mm-hmm. He has come from NXT as a babyface, and he will be facing
Dolph Ziggler on his way out the door.
Basically, yeah, he'll be facing Dolph Ziggler in most likely probably one of his last few matches. If they continue the way he's going, I can see him leaving very soon.
Yeah, well, his contract expires, and he's already said he's leaving.
All right.
So this is going to be his last program, is getting Bobby Roode over.
All right. So. But I know there's a lot of people that are like, Bobby Roode was the best heel in NXT, and the fact that they were debuting him as a babyface was a horrible idea. But here's my concept on that. It's like, He's just arrived in WWE. He's just arrived on the main roster. And like the people who know Bobby Roode are singing his entrance alongside. The casual fans are going to want to get along on this because, it's a catchy entrance and all that kind of stuff. So you can have him as a babyface for like a month or two, maybe a few more, and then have him switch over to that crazy good heel that we know he can be,
right.
And then there you go.
I would not be surprised if, he's babyface until he beats Dolph Ziggler, and then I wouldn't be surprised if he turns heel on Randy Orton or something.
Yeah, he goes like a whole Chris Jericho, like, I trolled all of you. Like, you're singing my entrance and stuff like that. I don't care about any of you.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, but I definitely think he's gonna go heel eventually, and I think
that's what
Bobby
he does
Roode
best.
and Randy Orton is just a dream concept.
Absolutely, and like, Bobby's just so talented, which really confused me. Why like Dolph goes in on him like you're just an entrance.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Bobby was like decided to like play into the fact that he is like that his entrance is amazing. Like, listen, you did it all wrong. This is how you do it, and then he does his glorious thing. I'm like, no, you should be like, buddy, you're going to learn at Hell in a Cell, I'm not just an entrance. I'm the best damn thing coming in WWE. It's like give him a reason to fear you, not just to be like, oh, he's got a cool entrance.
See, I don't know. I kind of like that he's just playing up his entrance. Because I think it's one of the things he doesn't need to tell Dolph. Just like he doesn't need to tell the fans, oh, yeah, well, I'll show you I'm more than an entrance. He'll ham up the entrance, and then he'll just simply do just that. And when he wrestles, be like, look at me.
Yeah, considering that, and then like he could just be like, I was so cocky going into that. I was just like, I'm playing up, I'm just an entrance. And then I destroyed Dolph Ziggler. Mm-hmm. It's like, there you go. Like, you people now know I'm not just an entrance, and now you know that I'm going to beat everybody that comes in front of me.
Right.
But yeah, I'm very hopeful for Bobby because I think they can do some great things with him. Mm-hmm. I just hope that eventually they bring him back to that amazing heel that we know he can be because, I mean, he's Bobby freaking Roode.
Yeah. And then there's two more things we need to touch on. The New Day Usos feud is great feud. They're facing off a Hell in a Cell. This time they just had a promo. But I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be match of the night.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, those guys are workhorses for sure.
They're great. That entire feud is awesome. Let the New Day go over, and then for Survivor Series, we can get the elimination Raw versus SmackDown match of the Shield versus New Day, and then we can all go to bed happy.
Absolutely, because that will be
that's
a
money match. That could main event Survivor Series. You don't even need a Universal Championship match.
No. You don't need Brock to show up. Look, there you go. You got New Day. It's like, I mean, like, you could have the Raw tag titles and the SmackDown tag titles, and then just boom, there you go.
You don't even have to put them on the line.
Yeah, exactly. You could just be like, Raw and SmackDown are colliding.
Yeah. But then, the SmackDown show ended with Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon. And, I thought that this feud at first was going to be a waste of time. I thought Kevin Owens could do better than this, and they were wasting him. But I am really into this feud. Shane McMahon, as long as he jumps off a cell at some point or gets thrown, I don't care. But goddamn, is Kevin Owens such a great heel.
I mean, that's the thing, too, is like, you could say that this isn't worth Kevin Owens' time, but he will make it work no matter what. Like, I mean, no disrespect to Shane, because Shane's great in his own way.
And he's a draw.
Exactly, and he's a draw. And, but Kevin Owens just, like, proves time and time again, no matter what storyline you give him, no matter who you put up against him, he will make money out of it because he's just that damn good.
This story reminds me of his Ring of Honor days when he was feuding with Jim Cornette.
Oh,
like it reminds me heavily of that feud. He does really, really well against authority, whether he's a babyface or a heel. Kevin Owens, who just happens to be in my top 5 favorite wrestlers to go in today, but I don't know. I think that match is going to be awesome, and I really wish I was there in Detroit to see it.
Absolutely, and they announced too that it's going to be Falls Count Anywhere.
Count Anywhere.
So basically, they're saying, look, they're going to break out of the cell. It's like it's going to be like that cell can't contain these two monsters. It's like, oh my God, like we bolted this cage down or something like that.
I just want Michael Cole to yell for the love of mankind again.
No!
For the love of mankind!
While he's staring at the script.
You've got kids, Shane.
It's like, oh my God, like your constant need to force your sound bites wants to give myself a freaking head injury. Like, I want to be a commentator for WWE. That's why I'm in broadcasting. Like, I cannot stand how much you script these sound bites. Like, have faith in your commentators that they can make these sound bites work. Why do you think Corey Graves is so incredible? It sounds natural when he says it. Cole looking at his script saying, "For the love of mankind."
I don't know. I was one of the only people that loved that line.
I hated that.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
There's a reason why people remember Jim Ross, because he didn't know that was gonna happen. They didn't script him saying, "As God is my witness, he is broken in half." Nobody scripted that. They had Michael Cole in the shot. The cameraman didn't even bother to zoom in on Shane when he fell. It's just like, oh, hey, Cole's in the shot. And like, I guess Kevin,
clearly reading lines on a script.
What have you, Kevin, done? You should have had him like zoom. He's in the shot. What are you doing? Oh my God, that was the worst thing that they ever did. But yeah, I mean, that's what we got. But me getting off my tirade, that's what we got going into Hell in a Cell, which should be a good show with some very key matches being standouts, being the New Day and Usos and Shane versus KO. And I'm sure the women, Charlotte will do incredible work with Natalya, because I mean, if they're NXT, as NXT showed, they can put on a good match as well.
As long as Jinder loses the belt, I don't care what happens with
Exactly.
this pay-per-view.
Exactly. I mean, as long as we can see Shinsuke kick him in the head repeatedly and just not let up and then just murder him, like, I'm fine. Then this show will be perfect.
Shane has to fall from something high and Shinsuke has to win. If those two things happen, I think the pay-per-view is a good show.
And if Kevin falls too, that's just an added bonus.
If they both fall, I'll take it.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that's all we got for right now. I mean, we're going into this Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which should be one pretty interesting show for sure. But yeah.
All right, guys, that was the first ever episode. Well, this season of Ringmasters with the new and improved Ringmasters podcast. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stick around. Our next episode, we're gonna review Hell in a Cell and do the fallout on Raw and SmackDown. So. Yeah.
All right. I'm Austin Sumowitz, and you are?
I am Chad, and we will see you guys later.